channel, right channel, center.
ENVTuber 一問一答自己紹介
Yeah, and the tape's
それじゃあ
rolling.
行くよせーのお名前は
Katt Phloxworthy.
呼び方は
Just Cat is fine.
あなたは何系 VTuber?
Nerdy cat girl who features space
誕
flight.
生日は
May 4th.
年齢は
Older than Pneumatic.
性別は
Transgender
身
female.
長は
4'11".
出身は
Sacramento County.
チャームポイントは
Dialogue hair clip.
突然ですがモノマネどうぞ
Yeah, what's up, Dad?
活動場所は
Twitch, Twitter, YouTube.
はじめの挨拶
Thank you for joining me.
終わりの挨拶
Bye.
推しマークは
Not at present.
配信タグは
Catlight
ファ
feed.
ンアートは
Cat pics.
ファンネームは
Cat's apprentices.
好きな色は
Iris Indigo.
好きなことは
Vintage computers and
得
video.
意なことは
Technology.
ここで一言愛の告白好
I love you.
きな食べ物は
Ethnic foods.
好きな飲み物は
Craft soda.
好きな漫画は
Pizza 10.
好きなアニメは
Planet.
好きなゲームは
Left 4 Dead 2.
好きな音楽は
Classic rock.
苦手なことは
Human stupidity.
尊敬するのは
Space fairy people.
叶えたい夢は
ISS crew
最後にみんな
interview.
に一言どう
Thanks
ぞ
so much for your support and a final status check.
Go Atlas.
Go Centaur.
Go Katt Phlox.
You have permission to launch.
3, 2, 1. RD-180 ignition. Booster ignition and liftoff of Atlas V and Centaur. Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me. Hi, everybody. Katt Phloxworthy here on my YouTube channel this time. Thank you so much for joining me. I am, as I'd mentioned on my Twitch channel, as well as, of course, my Twitter, or rather the Web 2.0 site formerly known as Twitter, now called X, or I'd like to call it X-Ray, or what have you. Any event, I just wanted to, first of all, wanted to say, first of all, hi there. It's been a hot minute since I've done this, and just making sure everything's working as it should. Mainly because I just got a new internet connection, albeit over the same two pairs of copper, but this time directly with AT&T as opposed to a third-party reseller, because apparently they don't sell this particular type of connection. And this one I'm getting about 20 megabits up, 75 down. Ideally I'd like to be on fiber because it would be much faster than that, but as I was talking to the tech who had actually come over like a couple of days after I got this thing installed, which was a self-install, basically I take the device out, plug it in, make a few changes to basically season it to taste, as it were. And in this case, I make quite a few change. Most people change the Wi-Fi stuff. I didn't. I actually changed the IP address. I also added a DMZ type setup, such that basically it's handing traffic straight off to the next hop, which is of course my Vios router. It thinks it's actually talking directly to the internet when in fact it isn't. It's still talking over private IP space between the uplink to the AT&T gateway, but the IP address on that interface is actually a private one. But it's basically being handed raw traffic from the internet with translations added. But in any event, the main thing is that it's running at 20 megabits up, so that gives me the ability to adjust. Make a couple of adjustments, most notably to my upstream, to my uplink on the encoder, going from the 720p, which was at 4 megabits before, to 1080p at 6 megabits now. The only thing is, I could probably bump that up because, from what I understand, the limitations on YouTube are much higher, like as close to as far up as I think 60 some odd megabits, but I don't know if that's necessarily if you want quality or if you want to use much higher resolutions, like say 2160p or what have you, or perhaps a combination of both. So in any event, everything seems to be working fine thus far. I'm not seeing any hiccups. I'm watching the stream come back with about a 7-second delay. That's one of my biggest gripes about YouTube, is that the delay between when I say something, when I do something here in the studio, to when it hits my screen. That's about 6 or 7 seconds baseline. Then again, I'm using the low latency setting. I haven't tried the ultra low one just yet. And of course, in Twitch, the delay is much lower, like on the order of like 2 to 3 seconds. At least that's been my experience. At least that seems to be the nominal delay that it seems to happen. But on top of that, I also had to make a few slight changes to my deck, because one thing I do with this one, I'm not sure about my other fellow streamers out there who stream on Twitch or YouTube, Twitch and YouTube, not necessarily at the same time, of course, is that I can actually touch a button, and all the overlays and various other assets that I feel more comfortable playing on Twitch versus YouTube get swapped out, and it works pretty well. The only thing I had to do was make sure that it was actually switching out the appropriate ending music. It wasn't doing that properly. I actually had to make a couple of changes there, so that's been fixed. So anyway, the other thing I got to do is also tell it to select the correct profile. In this case, it was selecting the old 724 megabit profile, when in fact I now have a 6 megabit 1080 profile. So everything seems to be working thus far. I'm pretty happy with it, and maybe I can do a bit more streaming on YouTube, especially any of the spaceflight content, which I normally would stream over on Twitch. As for, and I do have the capability, one of the things I might end up doing, I have an NVIDIA Quadro M2000 that's currently in my studio computer. It has the ability, just like most other NVIDIA cards, it has the Kepler core and later. It has an NVENC engine, and this particular card has the capability, theoretically, of encoding an unlimited number of streams, whereas GeForce devices only have the capability of doing up to about 5, according to the drivers. Although I don't know if they have any capability of going any higher than that. But in any event, everything seems to be working okay that I can tell thus far. So basically, all I have to do now is make a few slight changes in the deck to switch between the, and also make sure I have the right elements, right overlays loaded, in which case I appear to actually have that. The only thing I need to figure out, though, also is, the other thing I also have to do is just aesthetic stuff, such as I normally would use, in the past I used youtube.kattphloxworthy.com, which does still work, at least for now. Apparently they're getting ready to move all the Google domains, which I have this registered with, over to another provider. In this case, it's going to be Squarespace. And to that I say, no thank you. I'm not going to pay $20 a year to renew domains. Thank you very much. So I am going to be moving elsewhere. I need to find out what the schedule is and then start figuring out where to go. I have a basic idea where I'm likely to go. So more on that soon. But in any event, just wanted to let everybody know what was going on. And for those people who tend to prefer to watch only on YouTube, a lot of things have happened this year. It has not been a good year for me thus far in terms of things happening. There were a couple of highlights. I worked at Fanime, which is lots of fun whenever I do that. And also I went to Offkai for the first time, Offkai Expo. Met a lot of VTubers, both IRL and by way of various screens that they had out there. It was lots of fun there too. Unfortunately, there was more than enough bad stuff to go around. Woke up to find my back in March, I woke up to find my roommate dead. He had some health problems. and now I'm in a room by myself, so I don't have to worry about that. And then the next, and then that week, another VTuber apparently died in her sleep, likely due to a potential pulmonary embolism. And before the year is even half over, my mother died back in latter part of June, and then I got into a car wreck in late July. I finally got my car back after getting it fixed at a collision shop, so collision body shop. So everything's okay on that side, but it's been a really rough year for me. But in any event, hopefully I'll be doing a bit more streaming here in addition to my normal streaming over on Twitch, and hopefully I'm going to do a bit more working on other things in the coming weeks. So basically, and on top of that, if you notice my scroll, I've actually made some changes, notably to the YouTube connection there, which is at Katt Phloxworthy Ch. So basically, youtube.com/@Katt Phloxworthy. youtube.com/@Katt Phloxworthy Ch. And I also have a Threads account now, which is just like my the former the Web 2.0 site formerly known as Twitter is now called X, which I prefer to call ECKS, or X-Ray, which is the NATO phonetic alphabet form of the letter X. In fact, if you look down there, that's my Threads one. You go, I think apparently it even you have to use an @ sign. I'll have to double check on that, and if I have to, I'll make changes. So in any event, that's those changes, and of course stuff going on in real life as well. So anyway, yeah, just double checking, and then I'm gonna go play the stream back, make sure it works. There was a 7-second stream earlier, and I was just watching the playback coming back in, and I'm gonna actually look at the studio. It should come up in a minute. I think I put it right after my Instagram because, of course, Threads is actually operated by Meta, who owns Instagram and Facebook. In fact, there it is now, right there. That's my Threads account. So if you're on Instagram and have jumped onto Threads, then go ahead and give me a follow. And I try to keep both updated. I can't necessarily promise I can get both of them, but I'll do my damnedest. And apparently pretty soon they're actually going to be talking with the Fediverse, which is basically a decentralized social networking system, much like Twitter. In this case, it is the main piece of software that people use to communicate with the Fediverse is Mastodon. I might do something like that on my own setup, but like doing a self-hosted Mastodon, but that remains to be seen. I will keep you abreast of how things are going because I do a lot of self-hosting stuff here, and more on that as stuff happens to make itself available. In the meantime, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you're here, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream and then I'm going to watch and make sure everything's working as it should. And I'll talk to you soon, and hopefully more streams in the not too terribly distant future, because apparently, especially if I end up getting a bit more traction on not just Twitch but over here as well, who knows, there may be an agency thing in the offing. Not presently. I haven't applied to any agencies just yet, but if I do stream into more places, of course, check out my socials. And in fact, I should probably get a lot of those triggers set up here on Stream Elements. Blah, blah. I can't speak very well, as it appears. So, in the meantime, I hope you have a great evening, and until then, I hope you have a great one. Slava Ukraini, and I'll see you then. Bye.